Welcome to Monkey and Frank. My name is Do and my body is Dom. And today we're going to be talking about God. God. What is your relationship with God? Mine just started about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. God for me, growing up, was confusing. The first thing was that the idea that God punished if you did something wrong. I didn't realize it, but it affected me a lot. I did everything possible not to do anything wrong growing up. I was always in my sister's shadow, my mom's shadow, everybody's shadow, so that I wouldn't get hurt and that I didn't do anything kind of bad, but I wanted to do bad. When I would play video games, I would always choose the bad guy. Fable 2, I think, on the Xbox. Man, I killed everybody in that game. I wanted to experience what it was like to be bad. And I knew this from a young age, that, I was attracted to that. And it was weird because I thought to myself, I feel like I'm trying to get out of hell. I feel like I'm a demon or a soul that was damned in hell and now is trying to escape it, and this life will kind of decide if I'm going back to hell or if I'm gonna go to heaven. And that was fucked up because growing up like protected in the shadow of everybody, you get really insecure, and with insecurity grows fear, and with fear and the idea that I might be going back in hell, even though my mom was always saying, like, you're a good boy, and everybody was saying to me, you're a good boy, you're always smiling, you're always so nice. Inside, I felt bad. My ideas, my thoughts were not, they were frustrated, they were angry, and I remember doing a lot of, how do I say, explosions, just like my children are doing. And it's so paradoxical because I see them explode, and I want them to understand that the more you do this, the more you're training your body to explode. And as you get older, it's going to get more and more difficult. Look at me. I'm still exploding, and I'm 39 years old. I want to wake up. I've seen the light. Why am I not waking up? But then you're like, how do you teach? Right? So you have to go through your trauma, but she's 4 years old. He's 2 years old. Do they have trauma? No, they just, when they want something, it is everything to them. That relationship between that toy and them, I remember it so well. It's everything to you. You are one with that object, and when that object gets taken away from you, or it's time to do something else, you lose it. So it's like a no choice of creating trauma. Like being a kid, you just fumble through life, and I feel like that's why life is a journey, and I feel like everything is meant to be, because I see it in my children. They just fumble through life. At any point in time, if I'm not watching, they could kill themselves. Seriously. They're that idiotic. Like, they don't know any better. Everything is one with them. Everything, like, they just want to interact with everything, and it's amazing to see. But at the same time, and spiritually, you're like, wow, you are creating so much trauma for yourself. Like my boy the other day, he ate a hair of my wife, a very long hair, and it was stuck, and you saw it coming out, and it was halfway out, and as soon as you would pull, he would get like he would clench, he would cry, he would scream, and we just, okay, go on Google, just cut the whatever was hanging out, and it just came out by itself. Like, it took a day. But since then, every time that I wipe him, he's clenching, like he's fighting me after every poop, and I'm trying to teach him, like, it's okay, I got you, gentle, we're gonna be. And no, the trauma has been created, and there's no way for him to understand, realize, because he's not at that level. So kids basically just create trauma until you get an adult, and then you get to deal with them, and it's really beautiful, like when you see it that way. I don't even know where I was going with that. um, yeah, give me a second. Whoa, that was a good I got attached there. So anyways, so let's continue with God. Oh yeah, what I feel about God. That he has everything planned for us. And now that I'm after Peru and all this learning, I see that we really don't have a choice in this. As much as we sometimes make the decision to not create trauma, and to, I see that sometimes they make the right decision and they understand and they manage to take a breath and they say, oh, okay, Daddy, yes, I'm not going to explode, right? Because they know the consequences of it. But often they just cannot see the consequences. And it's a matter of how much sleep they had, what kind of food. The dynamics of it is so insane that it is impossible to control. Impossible to control the environment for a human being to not create trauma. I mean, in my experience, I was creating trauma at every moment because I did not like my body. Because, yeah, I didn't like my face. I didn't like my chest. I didn't like the way I felt inside, all the anxiety, the way I pooped, everything. And even though I was smiling and having fun sometimes, of course I was having, because the experiences that I've got were amazing, the people that I talked to, and because I was sad, everything that I experienced was amazing. But I was creating trauma nonstop for 38 years just because I did not have self-love. And that's to me such a basic of, if I could give the world anything, it would be self-love. Yeah, self-love. I wish everybody could just love themselves. But it's crazy, and I want to talk about that, is I see it in myself how much I hate or dislike in others for, like, for things that if I would have, I would dislike in myself so much. So much. I see it in everybody, and that's where the paradox, like I saw it this summer, when I could accept other people's things that would just annoy the shit out of me, if I would have like a stutter to like a physical attribute, to just the way somebody speak, or somebody eats an apple, or how they chew, the sound that comes out of their voice, like everything. It's like I judge everything. For 38 years I judged so much. Society has taught me to judge crazily, with like the magazine and the definition of beauty and how girls are supposed to look, and the amount of pornography that I saw. So it creates like a really crazy standard in your perception of like what a woman should look like. And I'm slowly bringing it back to like, all that is imperfect is the beautiful part, is what makes people so unique. Because when you see their imperfection, and today was very evident, is that you know that they're going through the same shit as you, the same self-love problem, the same, some people have their journeys. Everybody's journey is so unique. For me it's the self-love and the self-realization and the laziness and the cannabis, whatever it may be, the things that keep coming back, that makes me feel anxiety, or a lot of feelings now. I don't even want to call it anxiety, but I used to. Now it's just a feeling that I can use to do freaking magic. But that is so cool, actually. So yeah, today was really evident. When I would see something in another, I would get angry. Like, not angry, but like uncomfortable, as if I would want to look away, as if I would want to press pause, or and just take a break. And I was like, oh my God, dom, do, like, you know what the problem is. You've seen this problem before. All you have to do is picture yourself with those attributes and know that you would always be there for you. Like, you know that if there would be a duplicate of you, another dom right in front of you, you'd be there to hug him no matter what, because you would know exactly how he would feel. And even that wouldn't last long, right? Because every decision he would make after that, he would be his own person. But you would have an idea, right? And when I take the faults of other and I put it inside of me, it makes me love the other, because he becomes myself. And that's where I think people get the paradox of we are one, because physically and mentally that play on game, or that game that I play with myself internally, of picturing, what I dislike in them into me and really seeing it in my imagination, I start loving them right away. We are one. That's thank you for that, God. It was really evident. But the way that you're showing it to me, though. Oh yeah, another thing, by the way, guys, I'm going to be talking to God during this podcast. Hope it doesn't. Well, I don't care. I'm insane. Let's be insane together. So yeah, God, the way that you teach me and the way I understand it, I'm understanding it through this suffering, is like, it's painful. Like when I'm with a friend and I'm judging them hardcore and I'm seeing the beauty inside of it, it's crazy, because the more I'm hating, the more energy it builds up inside of me. And then when I do transmute it, it feels great. But the initial phase is very confusing, because I start judging, and then I get confused. It's the same as when I want to meditate, or when I want to communicate with you, or when I want to be patient, is the feeling of anger comes up so fast that I react, get disappointed, and then lose the train of, like the spirituality train that I was on. It's like I fell off. But I understand it, and it's beautiful. The paradoxes are real. The other one I want to talk to you about is, I made a video this morning about that, is every time I drive, as soon as I think about time, like as soon as basically thought comes in my mind, and that happens anytime. As soon as a thought comes in my mind, there's going to be a repercussion. It's crazy, because it's always the same thoughts, maybe, but I don't know. When I'm driving, I get the thought of, I'm going to need to come back because I need to work. That's the one that calls me a lot, work, like what I'm going to need to do. But then I stop it right away, and like when I get to work, I'll check. Like I know what I need to do. I don't have to think about it. Everything is in source. Trust. You don't have to think about anything, and as soon as you sit down, everything's going to work out. And I know this. So I get in the car, and then by chance I think about time, because I get a stress, because either my daughter is fighting with her brother or something, and then I get an emotion, and then I start thinking about time. Boom, I get a red light. Like as soon as I think about time, I get the red light. And I take a deep breath, and I try to get back into it, but there's some morning I just can't. Like I'm in the zone of, there's shit I need to do, and I want to think about it because I'm scared. I'm scared that maybe I'm going to lose my job, scared, like all sorts of stupid scared, right? So then the entire ride, I get red lights. But then sometimes during the ride, I get the feeling, I look up at the sky, all right, I breathe, I see spirituality, I don't think about time at all, everything leaves, I get the green lights after green lights. And then I look down because somebody maybe cut me, or because I see 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on the light blinking with the red hand. And those things are triggered that brings time back where, I need to speed up, I need to do something. And that's wrong. In my life, my goal, my journey is to never do that. Is just to not be flu, be aware that life, but do not get attached at anything you see. So if you see that red hand and you see the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you know that if you let it go. As soon as you see the hand, you don't even see it as a hand. You see it as nothing, and you just let go of the gas and relax about it. And everybody behind you is going to be pissed because they have. So you're fighting against the world. When you're driving, it's the perfect test. Everybody's fighting against you. Everybody. And the pressure is immense. But when you're able to flow, it's crazy how nobody's pushing you, nobody's cutting you. You're getting the green light. Somehow you're going the speed limit, but you're going, like, you're reaching your destination way faster. Like, it made no sense. How come I got there 5 minutes early? Like, and yet it's all about being here and now. I've experienced this even before spirituality. There's a few times it blew my mind. I was working about an hour and a half away from home, and it was all highway, and I would race. I had a Cavaliers at 22 back in the day, shit car. It would cap like at 162.3 or whatever, and then the motor would stop. But I would often be at 140, 160 going home because I wanted to get home, smoke some weed, play some World of Warcraft, and just chill. And I would be so rushed for time. I would be so stressed the entire time. If somebody would be going slow in the fast lane, I would tailgate them to no end. I was such an asshole, man. Like, forgive me, God, for that. Holy shit, was I an asshole when it came to driving. Like, I thought myself a good driver, but really it was just aggressive for no reason. I was so stressed, full of anxiety, so broken. I thought that time is so important because I've got no time. I'm gonna die one day. Oh my God. And at that time, I was... anyways. Horrible. But a few times, and I remember those, I just said, fuck it, I've got nowhere to go. I just want to get home. I was so tired doing overtime and, no traffic. So there was nobody to bother me. And I just put it on 110 and I didn't have cruise control, but I remember just chilling. It was nice. The stars were beautiful. And I know when I finished because it was so late. I just got in the car, looked at the time and left. I got home 20 minutes earlier than if I would have been at 160, and like, it was crazy. And I know maybe it's it was spiritual. I remember knowing that time is relative, and I was thinking a lot about Einstein back in the day too, about time is not just relative when it comes to black holes and everything like that. Time is relative with your feelings, meaning if you're on a low frequency and you're heavy, eating a lot of potato, and time just, or suffering and everything's heavy, depression, everything, time slows down to a crawl. And time is relative because it's your perception, right? It doesn't matter. When you're on ayahuasca, time feels like eternity. Every moment you're like, oh my God, it's like, it feels like eternity. And it's just what gas are you, what frequency are you on, right? So I was thinking a lot about that, and it got me going onto the wizard shit, like on frequency, and because I was such a stressed little monster, but like with good intention. I've always was a good person. It's just behind the wheel in a car. I realized from the Joe Rogan podcast, it's basically your body, Dom, is aware that this shit is dangerous, and you're already at 8 because you're driving, right? Everything is fast-paced movement. You have to put your flasher, you have to be aware of somebody cuts you or whatever. So you're always riding at 8, and me at 8, I'm angry. I'm not meant to rev at 8. Gives me white hair, and I panic. I'm a 2 or something. It has to be here and now, and no, time is an illusion. I'm not attached to anything, and so what? Like, we're all gonna die, and so what? The earth is gonna die one day. So what? Like, there's gonna be other awareness, types of awareness. I know that it's not limited to us. I'm sure that every cell in my body, every atom might have its own awareness, might be God for all that I know. There's no limit to that. So yeah, thank you, God, for showing me every single day when driving, because I have to drive, that you're there and that you matter. And you're showing me in the most brutal way, I have to admit. I've been, without knowing that you were there in my life, it caused a lot of anxiety, but it was meant to be. It was like I'm glad that I'm healing now. I'm glad for the transformation, to see black and white and all the shades of gray in between. It makes me feel like I matter and my story matters so much. Like I remember so much of my story. Thank you so much for when I was young. I remember the transition between, I guess, 4 and 5. I remember we did a trip to Kingston and going to my aunt. And I remember time was really weird. Like it was all confusing because I remember being tired, waking up, it was daylight, going to sleep, dark, and then I would kind of snap back and forth into events, and then I'd be playing with the toy, full daylight, and then it'd be nighttime, and then I'd be back at that toy. Time didn't make sense. Time was all over the place. And I remember the transition from one day to another where all of a sudden these pieces were closer together until time was linear. And I was like I remembered. And it made me think of all of my transitions. And I started thinking inwardly of what kind of transition my brain was going through, I guess. And then the next thing that I remember the most is I would wake up in the middle of the night at around that time at 5, and I would go in the closet and I would pick up a book. It was Peter and the Wolf, and he had a gun with a little cork at the end. And if I would shake the book, I could see the eyes of Peter move, and I knew that it was both my imagination, like I knew that it was me causing this thing to make the eyes move, so I knew that I was causing the illusion, but I also knew that he was real, and he was there for me, and he was comforting me. So as long as I would shake the book, and I shook the book for so long, and after that I saw other kids shaking books at random times, like when I was 7 or 8, and I knew that memory, it was always in my mind like that because I did it for so long, and my mom, I guess, didn't know, but they would leave the closet light open for my nightlight, so I would just go in the closet and do that like for such a long time. I guess a year, my mom said, and like we were there for a year in that house. And it just started my journey into remembering my transitions. And as a teenager, when I would go to parties or when I would talk to my uncles, my aunts, or I would look at them and have full-on conversation, and I knew that this conversation would change my life. I would think differently after this conversation because it was blowing my mind. And those mind-blowing moments, it's kind of like I was recording them. I kept thinking back on them all the time, and I wanted to remember. And same with those dreams. Like I've got so many dreams of when I was young that I just remember, even phone numbers of like my first girlfriends, and it's so cool. But at the same time, it was so much suffering, so much anger, so much because when you remember like that too much, it's like you're carrying your baggage around everywhere. You're not letting go of anything. You're just carrying everything all the fucking time. And when I let that go this year, when I decided to just be here and now and not think of any more of my memories of anything, so that I can be here and now and really, really use my eyes and my ears, period. And when I am closing my eyes, I'm still using my eyes, my ears, but I'm also using my third eye and my heart. And then the third eye and the heart started happening when my eyes were open, and it became the journey of just no thoughts, like No more memories. Only when I do these podcasts. That's why I love these podcasts. It makes me be able to go in my memory and play around and talk to you guys, and because I miss it so fucking much. I just don't think, and it's a miracle, man. It's the Ram Dass way. It's the fucking Alan Watts. It's so cool. It's Muji, you name it. Like I've seen so many people that I've awakened and know that the here and now is the only time, and they stick to it. But it's hard. It's hard. I don't know anybody that really sticks to it the way I do, because the way God made my life, designed my life, I've got the ability to do so, and I think everybody does though, but anyways, I don't want to brag or anything. I'm just so excited. I'm talking to you guys about my memories. So yeah, the transition, I did that all my life until I was 38. When I was a flight attendant, I lived in Toronto for 2 years and a half. And for the first year, because my life had drastically changed so much, and I was depressed, and for a long time I would just stare at a white wall in my living room, because I didn't have any cable, money for TV or nothing. And I would just smoke cigarette, drink alcohol, and smoke weed, and just think of everybody that I've ever hurt in the past, because I was so scared to go to hell again with that. I was so scared. And I just started thinking and asking for forgiveness. But I've never, until I'm 38, I never asked forgiveness for all the suffering that I caused my body, because I didn't know that I was not my body, that Mother is in control and God is the force behind it, that is in every freaking thing, every intention, every thought, every material, everything, and He is love. So God, I wanted to give you some thanks. I really am starting to love myself. Feels weird, but like even the compliments I gave myself about being silent mind, like I've never been so proud in my life I feel strong. I don't feel scared anymore. If I am to die tonight, thank you. Okay, I can't wait to see, not can't wait. I'm looking forward to meet you, like in the near-death experience that I keep hearing online, and I really believe and feel like if that is the transition, thank you so much. That's such a beautiful thing that you're giving to everybody. Like, you are giving us everything we ever want, and I'm forever grateful. Today I was talking to my wife about the idea that this is hell, like this, like right here and now, this 3D place where the is and the is not exist. I really like that story of you created Mother so that Mother can create a space where everything exists, meaning love, and then everything that doesn't exist, so that we could clash and create kind of like a 3Dness, like a friction, so that we could experience ourselves through the bad, through the is not, through the dark, through the, where you are light, and Mother's like, with your help, of course, with your force, you're creating, you are everything. But like the fact that you create Mother so that she can birth kind of like images of you so that we can experience you, it's really cool, man. I really like that idea. So therefore, like when we die, you're just bringing us back to love. And no matter what you've done in your life, you're going back love, where is exists. Because what is love. And then what is not is the dark. And you are not that, because it's not. So it's like there's a security there where you can just rest and lie back in the love. But to really, really experience it, you have to start doing practices that will enable you to love yourself. My wife and my daughter has started a practice in the morning, and I'm imitating them because it's so freaking cool that my wife has so much courage to do this. she goes in front of the mirror with my daughter and says, okay, we're going to find 2 things about yourself that you love, and I want you to look at yourself, really look at that part, and tell and say to yourself, say what you love. And they look in the mirror, and this morning my daughter looks, I like my neck. I like my neck. It's a beautiful neck. And she was really looking at her neck in the mirror. Then my wife says one, and my daughter, I like my belly button. And it's so cool, and it makes sense. I went in front of the mirror and I looked at myself. I was like, thanks. Like, I like my body today. Like, I've been really aware, and I've been in present so much that my body has been changing, like, automatically. It's so cool. Like, I am doing physical exercise to modify it, but I'm not doing it for the beauty of it. I'm doing it because of presence. Like, if I've got a shoulder pain, I'm going to do some push-up or some planks. If my lower back hurts, I'm going to do some kettlebell. So I'm listening to my body, right? And if I'm trying to keep up, and not keep up, but like to. And anyways, it's working. I'm not even putting in effort. That's the point. Like, I'm not thinking about it. It just happens. I'm here and now, and whenever my body's showing me, I do. So anyways, go in the mirror, and it's like, I like the way I look. And that was the first time, like, in a long time, that, wow. So I felt great about that. What a crazy journey. God, you are insane. To put like psychedelic in a toad, mushrooms, and oh man, and thank you so much. You are giving us so much knowledge not when, but when and if we are willing to really put in some courage and some effort to go into the deep end and really look at it. It is insanity. Your mushrooms, God dang, like insane. I would have never thought that a human could see such fluid movement with eyes wide open, like the entire wall melting, to seeing somebody's face transform into 1,000 eyes, and oh, you are crazy. And then just the pure knowledge of the download, of the realization that you are not this body, and all thoughts and creativity comes from a place, comes source. And when people take so much psychedelic, they get to a point where everything is love, no matter what. 5-MeO-DMT, the majority of people, I guess, when they're ready, go and meet God, and God is love, and God is everything and nothing. Oh, it's insane. My experience with the toad was not that yet, but I'm looking forward to either seeing you in this life through a psychedelic, or otherwise breathwork, or otherwise dream, or whatever, or otherwise when I die. And all of these options, I am so grateful. So freaking grateful. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Oh man, I want to talk more. Do I have more to say, guys? No, I think I'm good. Thank you so much for listening. If you like this, please subscribe. Send me an email. I think it's up. monkeyandfrank@gmail.com. Really, have fun, guys. Love you.